This is episode 11 of Flixwatcher Podcast. I'm Helen.
And I'm Kobe. On this episode of the Flixwatcher Podcast, we're going to be talking about Woman in Black, the post-Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. I was going to say classic, but I'm not sure.
It's not really a classic.
We'll leave that for you to decide. On the show, we're featuring Felix and Tom from Wooden Overcoats, and we recommend you go and see them.
Come find us on Twitter, tweet to us, agree with us, disagree. We're at Flixwatcher Pod. The website flixwatcher.tv has full listings of each episode, and subscribe and review us on iTunes. As always, films reviewed in this podcast were available to stream on Netflix UK at the time of recording. There may be bad language and there may be spoilers. You have been warned. Welcome to this edition of Flixwatcher Podcast, and today we are joined by Tom and Felix. If you want to say hello and introduce yourselves and tell us what podcast you're involved with.
Hello, I'm Tom.
And I'm Felix, hello.
And we're involved in Wooden Overcoats, the podcast sitcom about two rival funeral directors.
I can confirm that.
And the film we're talking about today, guys, is Woman in Black. So who chose Woman in Black? And can you give us a brief rundown of what happens in it?
I chose Woman in Black.
Why?
Why did I choose Woman in Black? I was inspired to choose Woman in Black by another guy involved in our podcast, David.
He's the creator, is he?
He is the creator, the head writer on the whole thing, and a big fan of this world of gothic horror and all the kind of the things that Mark Gatiss has made his current career on.
Yes. Hammer horror, the classics.
Yeah.
Ghosts.
So, yeah, David suggested that I might enjoy it.
So you've not seen it before?
I have seen it before, but I was going to originally see it with David, and then through a slightly convoluted set of circumstances, I ended up watching it with Tom. But I'm sure David will enjoy it at some point. I hadn't seen it for a while, though, so I didn't remember it very well.
Sure.
I remembered the ending.
Well, we're not going to jump to that, but we do give away spoilers.
Yes, so
Okay.
we are.
Great, so the ending is...
Oh, yeah. Daniel Radcliffe is in it.
So give us what happens in The Woman in Black.
Daniel Radcliffe is... I mean, it's the opening of Dracula, in that Daniel Radcliffe is miscellaneous legal... Well, it's Edwardian in this case instead of Victorian, but it's sort of 1900s, and he is sent to Yorkshire to... What's he doing? He's sort of inventorying and getting ready a house for sale.
We couldn't quite work out what he's doing. Someone at one point goes, "Oh, you won't find a local buyer." And you think, oh, then he's trying to sell the house. So we assume he's looking for a deed.
So
For some reason he has to go looking around all the scariest corners of the scary house.
It wasn't ultimately that clear, but his job was on the line.
His job is to get Daniel Radcliffe into a creepy house.
Yeah.
And he does that with aplomb.
Yeah, gusto.
He goes through... We noticed 2 trains.
Yes,
there are 2 trains to get there. There's a change.
Yeah.
Because
there's the comfortable train and there's one
And then
It's a
the
nice
wooden
bit of
train.
visual storytelling, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like we're getting more remote and more rubbish
Yeah.
as you go.
But as Tom pointed out to me while we were watching it, it's a very nicely designed, uncomfortable train that's got very nice fixtures around the windows.
Lovely woodwork.
It's a very good woodwork. A lot of character.
Yeah. That's all through the film as well. And
A lot of character.
A lot of many characters. Well, mainly one character. 2 if you count the Woman in Black. Spoilers. But when we were watching it, and when the Hammer horror logo sort of came up, Felix went, "Oh, good," and you sort of know what that
means.
Yeah, because it does have that strange sense of. You've said it felt very much like a 70s horror, but with modern cameras, which was a bit strange.
Yeah, it's a little odd. It's very slow paced. There's not a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of long bits of Daniel Radcliffe, sort of shots of his face with enough blank space over his shoulder for something to appear over his shoulder.
Yes. Yeah.
They're a big fan of that shot.
I'll tell you what, though. Can I cross-reference a different film?
Yes, you can do, of course.
Thank you very much. I wasn't that fond of Drag Me to Hell. And one reason I wasn't that fond of that is because every shot is framed like that. Every shot is framed in a way
as
that
if something's going to come over the shoulder.
Yeah, in the car window, in the bathroom mirror, like every single... And you get fatigue after a while, just going, I mean, something's either going to turn up or it isn't. But this was way better paced, The Woman in Black, I thought.
Well, it's a fair point. When I was watching this, I was thinking of the not Benicio del Toro, Guillermo del Toro, Crimson Peak. Because I'm not that big a horror fan. I don't tend draw to more to these kind of films. And there's no rhyme or reason for it, and that's probably why this was the first time I've seen Woman in Black. So thank you very much for suggesting it.
You're welcome.
But but the Crimson Peak had a similar kind of setup where there's a lonely house on an island stroke hill. There's some creepy shit going on there, and you're trying to work out what is the kind of truth behind it. And I don't know, here, I think obviously Guillermo del Toro is a craftsman. He does everything he does is beautiful, whether you like it or not. Ultimately, it looks amazing. Yeah. I wasn't so drawn into Woman in Black as I was to Crimson Peak. But I guess I watched Crimson Peak in the cinema. I watched this at home on my small screen TV. So that might be part of the reason why it didn't play out.
Could be.
So you'd seen it before, Felix? You said was it on?
I've seen it before, and no, I think I saw it on DVD, and I've seen the stage version as well.
Well, that's an interesting.
Never read the book.
That's an interesting angle. I mean, how we were talking, Helen and I were talking about how
How long was the stage? Was the stage after this film, or has the stage been going a lot longer?
Stage has been going for years.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The film came out in 2012. I think I saw the stage version around about 2010, 2011.
Yeah.
So I was, fairly not too long time between the two. And I don't remember the stage version well enough to tell you exactly whether the plot changes, but it's done in a very different way. Have you seen the stage version?
I haven't, no, but I saw this at the cinema when it came out, and sort of my overall kind of feeling and what I've kind of taken from it is it feels very stagey in sort of the set design and kind of the feel. There's a lot of attention to detail and kind of making use of not really much happening with obviously atmosphere and noises and things like that. So that's kind of what I got from it originally, but I haven't seen the stage version, no.
Well, one thing that I remember from the stage version is there's a lot more humour in it. I mean,
okay.
Really?
This doesn't crack a joke. And
Not really,
there's no humour.
There's a lot of physical humour because the stage version is brilliant, and it's a real kind of actor's test because there's only two roles in it who in my head are called the younger man and the older man. I don't know if that's the official script, but that's how I've always referred to them, and people have referred to them that I know. And
in this one, they're called Kieran Hines and Daniel Radcliffe.
So Daniel Radcliffe is the younger man, and he narrates the whole thing, which they obviously completely pull out for the film, which is a lot of silences, but it's him saying, "I'm a lawyer. These are the things that happened to me. Hello, person." And then the older man plays every other part.
Oh, right. Does he play the Woman in Black as well?
Apart from the Woman in Black.
Okay.
Woman in Black is uncredited, and you never know who plays her. But all of the people that he meets, you notice it in the film that he goes from literally old man to old man. I see old, like late middle-aged, to old man.
Yes.
Because that is kind of how the stage version
the
is
innkeeper
structured.
yeah,
and they're always just one person on their own, so they play a lot with moving the old man part, his physicality between. There's a lovely moment early on in the stage version where you realize he's going to do this. He takes a lot of time putting on a pair of glasses to become, I think, the young man's boss back in London.
Right.
Yeah, I really remember that, and I remember the rocking chair from the stage version as well. That kind of really sticks in my mind. Yeah, which obviously they bring back in the film.
Yeah, which is lovely. It was great. It was proper scary. Like there were lots of some of it was jump scares, but there was also a lot of really good, like, ominous. Where both of us sort of looking at each other, going, "Oh no, oh no!" And it's just the steady inevitability of something's coming any second now. Something's going to turn up. Oh no! And it held those silences really nicely, I thought, for a film horror rather than a stage one. Yeah, it was really good.
I wasn't, like I say, I'm not a big horror fan, but I didn't feel scared by it.
Oh, really?
There's some quite creepy scenes in there, like when he's trying to bait the Woman in Black in the room, and trying to get the rocket. I know he sets off all the toys going, and he's kind of standing waiting for her, and that corridor goes dark, and you can see her in the distance, and she comes closer. And I thought that was quite an effective scene. And another scene I thought was quite impactful was with he goes in to try and save the girl in the basement, and there's a fire going on. And she stood there with a paraffin lamp and looks across, and there's a Woman in Black there. And then that's when it all kind of comes together, and then she throws a paraffin lamp on there. But like I say, like Tom was saying, I think a lot of them were kind of jump scares. It's just quietness and then loud noise, and that's what kind of threw you up in the air rather than the...
I thought the score was a bit boring, actually, come to mention it.
Yeah.
It was so first route, like, sort of scary strings, that goes quiet for a bit, and then percussion and scare, and that was the only thing that let me down. I thought on a basic level, but it reminded me a lot of The Innocents or The Haunting from the 1960s and that sort of thing. Where then there was no money, and no effects, really, technology, and so The Haunting is an amazing film with a very similar
the original. You should point out, and not the remake.
Not the one with who's in it? Is it
Owen Wilson, Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh, wow.
Owen Wilson's in a horror.
Yeah,
they can't take that seriously, can you?
I don't. No. Well, I don't even know if because I think it's based on the same story as so many other films like The Haunting at Hill House or Hell House, and it's got a million different names. But The Haunting, the plot's about a psychologist who invites a bunch of people who've exhibited paranormal abilities, sort of ESP and things, into a haunted house, hoping that they'll be more sensitive to ghosts. And then he'll be able to prove that ghosts exist because finally these psychics have drawn them out somehow. And they all go mad. It's a horrible nightmare. But it's brilliant because there's nothing. There's. I don't think you ever even see, spoilers, but I don't think you ever see anything actually supernatural on screen. Mm. It's just suggestion and shadows and things not quite seen in the corner of your eye. And there's one bit which is terrifying, which is just the light on a sort of crinkled up wallpaper looking like a face. And it's so chilling. And the biggest scare of the movie is a door is open that wasn't open before. And there's a similar bit in Woman in Black, actually, where there's the whole, that sealed up room, that's never been open as long as anyone can remember. Yeah. And then just turn the corner and it's just sitting open in the jar. It's terrifying, yeah. That I thought it captured some of those moments really well.
So you think because of, the lack of score you're saying there maybe didn't give the same atmosphere as The Haunting?
Maybe not. It was just a bit predictable, really. I can't remember much about the score from The Haunting, but I'd almost forgive it because it's from the 60s.
Well, it's Robert Wise as well.
Is it?
Yes.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so it's part of the era. There's like the Cat People as well, all around that kind of era. Excellent horror. I'm quite a big horror fan, so didn't really enjoy this that much. I remember I saw it in the cinema and had kind of a little bit of a snooze halfway through. Yeah. But what I do remember is obviously when it came out, because obviously it starred Daniel Radcliffe, obviously a very young fan base, and kind of when it came out there was a lot of kind of hysteria in cinemas, and a lot of people did genuinely find it absolutely terrifying because they were about 10 years old.
Right.
And this is their horror film. It's for them.
Yeah.
I was reading about this. There were a lot of complaints after it because it got a 12A rating because it's Daniel Radcliffe, and I think the sequel got upgraded to a 15, and they cut quite a lot of the things that would have made it a 15 officially. But I suppose it's very difficult to rate something on creepiness.
Yeah, on how much it's going to really shit you up, basically, in a long-term capacity. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's the only times it let itself down, I think, is when it got into that more modern Hollywood jump scares. Like, I did think that, distant shots of the Woman in Black and some of the ways they do those kind of classic, like, predictable horror movie scares. There's a bit with the condensation of the hand on the window. Yeah. Little images like that, and I thought, that's really nice. And it probably lifted from a million other films that have done that in the past, but it was the first time I'd seen a few of those devices used, and I thought that was pretty neat. I mean, it's basically a haunted house ride. It's a ghost train. You go, here come the ghosts, and then they appear in different ways at different times.
I think the one thing I want to talk, going back to the Daniel Radcliffe thing, do you think he was convincing in the role of an estranged or widower who's got to take care of his son and his job's on the line, and him being the right person to come and check out this house?
I do.
You think think he played that role all right?
Yeah, I like Daniel Radcliffe.
Sorry, that's me leading the question there.
I mean,
it's always like you're defending him there. I like Daniel Radcliffe.
I do like Daniel Radcliffe.
I think he's great, but I'm not sure. For me, I don't think he was he's maybe 18 in this role, and he's playing it.
I think he's a bit older, isn't he?
I'd have said plays in early 20s. He's young. Yeah. When you first hear the son go, "Dad," I went, "Nah."
Well, this is what I mean. He's got a 4-year-old son.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're Edwardian, like Victorian.
I guess that's kind of
old by those times.
You'd have 3 or 4 kids and a mortgage by then.
Yeah.
In those days.
We were talking about poor old Daniel Radcliffe has kind of developed this career of just being put through the ringer. You kind of think of everything that he's put through as Harry. Then he's got this. Then his most recent one
Swiss
is
Army Man.
being a corpse.
Yep.
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Before that, he was a Nazi. Oh no, he's playing a Nazi undercover.
Oh yeah, is he a British fascist or something?
Yeah.
I've not seen that. That looks good though.
What is it?
I think Anthropoid. I think it's called
Anthropoid
or something. It's Imperium.
That's it, yeah.
It's a sort of British Empire meditation.
That's right, yeah.
I don't know, yeah. And it looks, I mean, I feel like toughening him up is a mistake. I feel like that's not the path that Daniel Radcliffe's going to take. But he's really nice and sort of washed out and troubled looking.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that he changed much across the course of the film. And after seeing, you know, a real ghost, you think you might actually develop slightly more. You might become slightly more shocked or traumatized. But I felt he sort of started at, I'm pretty traumatized about my dead wife, and then ended at, I'm still pretty traumatized about my dead wife. And that was kind of the journey. But he's good at being knocked about.
Yeah, and filmmakers love knocking him about.
For me, he does take on really interesting choices, and obviously he's done quite well to kind of shake off the child actor thing, and you know, has made some interesting choice. But I never really feel as though he completely kind of pushes himself or really embodies that role. He's still kind of, he does it quite well, and he doesn't do it badly, but it doesn't quite feel, you know, he doesn't kind of go to Christian Bale lengths of kind of really getting into that role and becoming something other than kind of, he's still kind of Daniel Radcliffe being nice and kind of giving it a good go.
Yes. I picked up a bit of modern speak coming from him. So the way he was talking, there's that slightly kind of like London RP voice was coming out, which you get occasionally these days. But that was also slightly in the writing. Like, it's written very modern for such a period piece.
Yeah. There was a moment, wasn't there, where was he speaking to the police?
It's okay, though.
No, there is, though. He says, no one lived in that house for 20 years. And it's like, oh, no, there is, though. And you go, no, he's not a schoolboy in 1999.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I quite enjoyed some of that stuff in a way. It really feels like, you know how you sort of get Van Helsing wearing bell-bottoms in a 70s Hammer movie, because it's like, we're going to do it period, but we'll also make it cool and save a bit of money. And it feels like the sort of 2012 version of that. Like, we're going to sort of go period accurate, but also just fucking...
I like the rest of the village, though, as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was some really nice casting there. There's a real kind of broad sweep of different characters coming out. It was nice sort of seeing them all together. You only ever saw them together at times of great tragedy because of the number of children that died.
It gets through children in this film.
It gets through children at a cracking rate.
Let's talk about that, because it wasn't scary, but this is a creepy story, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the woman in black is responsible for the deaths of
of many children.
Of many children. She's horrible.
Yeah, no, I think we're all agreed on that point. Yeah. But it is, I do like that, because I assumed that it would be, knowing what I knew about the stage show, which is that it's very minimalist, very based around the sort of technical spectacle of how do we pull off these illusions with a bare stage and all that. I assumed it would be very, very minimal and we wouldn't get much backstory, having not seen the stage play or read the book originally.
Yeah.
And being familiar with all those things like Whistle and I'll Come to You, which has to be like one of my all-time favourites, where you learn nothing about what the spirit is. I thought it'd be the same thing, where it's just like, oh, well, you know, there's a mystery about what happened at this time and they'll leave it there. But then the actual backstory, I found you had a lot of sympathy. But then I quite liked it at the end, where you're sort of given the chance that maybe some kindness being shown to the spirit will calm her down. Yeah. And it just doesn't. It's just, we're doing everything we can to appease you. I don't care.
That's actually really funny. Not funny, but he went...
It's sort of funny.
He dove into that bog, didn't he? He dove into the marshes.
Yeah.
Which is quite a horrible... As an actor, I would have thought that was quite a horrible scene to film.
I was thinking that.
In full period dress as well, in the tweeds.
I don't know.
It would
also
be heated
kind of
or something.
Yeah.
Well, it was foggy night, so maybe they just
I bet you they enjoyed that. I bet you there was a lot of laughing, a lot of Daniel covered in mud.
Yeah.
That famous saying, yeah.
Or Muddy
Daniel
Radcliffe.
Covered in mud. It's the song, isn't it? It's Chaz and Dave. Yeah.
Picking up the corpse of a dead...
Yeah.
Picking up the corpse of a little dead boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved the marsh, the swamp. Not swamp, because it was Yorkshire and they don't have swamps. The marsh... and the kind of texture of it I thought was brilliant.
Yeah, the cinematography of the sort of area as well, like before you get into the sort of remote pass and all that.
It was beautifully shot.
Landscape is gorgeous.
Like, generally, across the board, it's a really beautifully shot film, I thought.
It's quite tasteful in a way that it's got that sort of quite schlocky style, and again, it's very Hammer horror as well. Yeah. But there are ways you could do it far more like, this is creepy, lots of Dutch angles and stuff, and they sort of avoid that and just go for lots of still shots of a a hallway or a house, and then you just see a thing move, and you go,
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking at a collage of pictures. Then there's one in the bottom left-hand corner, which is the shadowy figure of the ghosts peering over Daniel Radcliffe's face.
I mean, I kind of look at that now, and I say I'm a big horror fan. I sort of comparing this to something like Sinister, and this kind of doesn't really kind of cut the level of kind of horror. And
I've not seen Sinister yet. I fancy the look of it. That's the VHS tapes one.
Yeah, with Ethan Hawke. Yeah. I haven't seen the sequels to it, but I did enjoy that very much. Obviously, completely different film, not the one we're talking about now, and that does kind of a lot of things that this does reasonably well. I don't know. I think with this, it's just a little bit too slow for me. I think maybe I'm more kind of used to the onslaught of death, blood, gore.
Do you think casting Daniel Radcliffe held it back in that way because you had the expectation of the audience?
No, I mean, I think he's fine. I don't know who I would have wanted to see there and in his place, or what might have done it better. I just kind of feel because it's come from a book and then it was a stage thing and then it's gone to a film, it's not quite made the transition. And in sort of a comparison to this in another way is The Others, which is kind of very similar in the way that it kind of sets everything up, the tension, and like the horror, there's not actually any real horror. It's more kind of atmosphere, spirits, and I think that did it a lot better than this for me personally.
For me, something like with the sort of spooky kids vibe, and again going back to Guillermo del Toro, who didn't make it, but he produced The Orphanage, which I thought was a fantastic job of a similar premise. I mean, it's the same kind of, it's a haunted house film, and it's there's some unquiet thing here, and we're not sure where it's come from or what it wants, and it's still that thing of here's your environment, get used to this environment. You're now going to see it sort of warped and twisted around these terrible events and these revengeful actions over the course of the movie, that's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah, just back to Guillermo del Toro. Have you seen The Devil's Backbone?
I have. I love it so much.
Again, there's that's another kind of film that's very, not really much happens, but it's that's like that. Sort of comparing things in my head, it's sort of, it has something about it that you just can't quite put your finger on, but it's very magical, and again, child performances and nothing really happened. There's not really any real horror, but it's very, very beautiful, and I just didn't feel that this quite hit those levels of magicness.
And what's great about The Devil's Backbone as well is you get this sense that it's Del Toro trying to sort of paint a picture of Spain just ravaged and totally torn in upon itself. So there's this uneasiness, like he's saying, this is the whole country's like haunted by war, and it's just beautifully done to then turn that into a conventional ghost story, but still with that sense of kind of isolation and lawlessness that, of course, in our Brexit Britain we're all now heading for. So watch The Devil's Backbone and get ready for what's about to happen.
I think we need to move on to the scores, guys.
But not talking about films we're not actually reviewing. And
sorry.
Maybe that's testament to what we think about this film if we talk about other ones that we have preferred watching. So the first score in the Matrix is the recommendability score. These are all out of 5. How much out of 5 would you recommend this to other people?
I think horror's such a splitter. Like, I'm like you, I'm not really a horror person. But for someone like me who doesn't love a horror film, this was quite a good entry-level one, I'd have thought so.
Entry-level horror?
Yeah, I'd say
it's
maybe...
mild terror.
Mild peril.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 3.5.
Yeah. 3.5 recommend. Tom?
You're going to 0.5s now?
I am.
You can put whatever... We're on a spreadsheet here, guys. We can put whatever you want.
I'm going to 3 decimal points.
Oh, right.
I'm not.
Old 3DP Crowley.
I mean, I think that, assuming that this were me recommending the film to another me, some hypothetical other me that existed, I would say 4. Because I think it's very pretty. And, as someone who prefer, like, I really like the sad ghost stories, like the less scary, but just sad ghost stories full of tragedy, then that's what I'm going for. So I'd say 4.
Helen?
I'm going to give it a 2.
Oh.
Sorry.
Don't need to apologise. That's your...
I've got a whole list of other films that I'd recommend before this. I mean,
and we're going to go through them all now.
If you're a Daniel Radcliffe fan and you haven't seen this, then obviously you need to see it, 'cause, he's all right in it, and it is something different that he's given a go at. But other than recommending maybe Kobe to see it, and he's seen it now, I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone else really that I know.
I'm going to give it 2.5.
Dead in the middle.
Yeah, dead in the middle. I don't know. It's not. Like I've said a few times, I'm not that big a horror fan, but when there's good horror, I think it's properly awesome. Like the Babadook and other things.
Amazing.
Horror films. I haven't seen A Devil's Backbone. It's a massive blind side of my film repertoire.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
No one saw it.
Yeah.
But I think I recommend things like the Babadook well above this. I think
That's got to be my favourite horror film I've seen in quite a few
Amazing.
years. Favourite new horror film, anyway.
And also there's type of horror films like The Guest, which I wouldn't. They're scary.
Yeah, it's funny, The Guest. We shouldn't get into that now.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
I'll be next time you're on, guys. We'll talk about The Guest.
Sure.
If it's on Netflix. Repeat viewing score.
I have repeat viewed it.
How does it stack up?
Would you repeat view it again?
Well,
And how often and
no,
when?
I mean, no, it's.
No need.
No, I mean, I'm trying to think. Maybe if it was a Sunday afternoon and the only other thing on was horse racing and I was at home with my parents, I'd be like, yeah, I guess we could have this on. But otherwise...
Put that in an out of 5 system.
Score that out of 5.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 1.8.
Tom.
You're infuriating. I am in a similar area. Because I love watching films I've already seen with my girlfriends, especially when they're really good horror. We're both big horror fans. And so late at night, all the lights off, just a lamp in the background, and then watch something that'll really scare you, which is fun. And this won't do that, but it will be a bit creepy. So I'm going to give it a 2, because I'm almost certainly going to rewatch it at some point soon with my girlfriends.
I like that our scores means you enjoyed this film very slightly more than me.
I mean, we're dead on slightly more than you.
Yeah.
I mean, I did repeat view it, and I really don't need to see it again. I mean, the first time it kind of made me jump a little bit. The second time, I knew it was all coming, and I didn't really learn anything new from it. I guess a 1. I mean, I don't know. I'd be interested to go and see the stage play. Maybe that would.
But that doesn't count. That's
I
You
know, it
should
doesn't,
sit
yeah.
at the front. That's my top tip for
Throw things on you.
stage
God.
play.
Is that like a roller coaster
It's not
thing?
scary.
At
The
the
further
back,
back you go,
okay.
the less scary it is.
Okay.
Yeah, so 1. Sorry.
I'm going to give it a 1 as well. I don't think I'd be bothered, to be honest with you, to watch
Fair
it again.
I'm too nice.
Small screens. How well do you think it represents itself on the small screen? Do you think it would work better on a big
cinema?
screen?
Probably.
Yeah.
In a packed cinema, in the dark, it'd probably really get you a bit better.
Yeah.
I think small screen it's a pretty diminished quantity.
We watched it over croissants in
Yeah.
mid-morning.
Yeah. I wasn't petrified, I'll say that. But the croissants are very nice.
So
So
what?
5.
At one point, we paused so that you could talk to a man about your shower.
Yes, my shower's broken. That's annoying.
Well, this will come on to the next score, but save that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
So small screen score. 5 being it's fantastic for the small screen.
Oh no, it's not fantastic. No, I'd give it a 2.
I have a technical question about this. Does cost come into this? Because there's so many films where I have a different system to most people, where most people go, you've got to see it on the big screen. It's full of effects and it's very visually splendorous.
Yeah.
Whereas I go, it'll probably be rubbish though. If
Is it
it's
worth
like a great
£12?
big, but yeah. So I go well, I don't want to pay for that.
Yeah.
In cinema. Is that part of the decision?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean this is the category I guess it's most open for interpretation as to how
Yeah,
you want to
I
play
mean-
it. So
Okay. Well, I'm going to factor that in then,
yeah,
just so you know.
And what does that factor bring us?
2.5. Because, as well, this is, as Felix said, this is the perfect, quite cosy, not too gory or terrifying Sunday afternoon horror movie. You sit there
Entry-level
with a cup
horror.
of tea. Yeah, entry-level horror. You heard it here first.
I think I'd go for Carry On Screaming if I went for entry level.
Wow. Bit raunchy, isn't it?
Helen.
For a Sunday
looking at me.
afternoon. Raunchy.
I'm going to give it a 3 because I did see it at the cinema, and apart from the brief snooze that I had at some point in the film, I quite enjoyed it on the big screen. And you're sitting next to someone, and necessarily you might not jump, but they jump, and then you both look at each other and go, and it has kind of worked like that, I think.
Have a mini screen.
So yeah, 3. Yeah, I think, and we have mentioned that it is, there's a lot of cinematography to enjoy in there, and it does work really well on the big screen. And on the computer screen, I just, wasn't really feeling it this time around.
I'm going to give it a 2.5 because I can't think of which way to play
Either
it.
way, you're completely indifferent
Completely
towards
indifferent,
it.
yeah.
2.5 scores. You are indecisive about this film.
I am, pretty much. Engagement score. How engaged were you through the film? Did you feel you needed to
Well, we didn't know
Stop
what
and
Daniel
have
Radcliffe's job was, so yeah.
So were you playing on Wikipedia? What is his job in this film?
I did have a quick synopsis check afterwards to work out why he was in this house. But for the the story isn't really about him selling the house. The story is unveiling what the story of the house is, and that happens quite slowly. Engagement with the actual film? Yeah, I was engaged. I'm going to give it a 4.
Tom?
I'm going to give it a 3, I guess, because if I were more engaged than that with the film, I'd find it more tragic and less entertaining that all these children were dead. I don't think I can put it any better than that. Oh, another dead kid. Oh, blimey, that's inventive. You know, like, it's not... You're not fully engaged.
It did become a bit blasé, didn't it? When another kid died.
It's also a film that... Can I spoil the ending?
Yeah.
It's a film that makes the sole happy event, like the only time we feel uplifted, be the death of the main character and his son.
And he's reunited with his dead wife.
Yeah.
But I was sort of disappointed by that, because I hoped that either the woman in white, you know, the dead bride, would just become the woman in black and steal them away to whatever horrible ghost land that they're going to now inhabit, because presumably they're back off to the house now. Daniel Radcliffe and his son, they're off to that house to haunt it forever, surely, based on the logic of what we've seen.
Well, there is a sequel, which I'm sure none of us
we're watching
now.
Yes.
Is Daniel Radcliffe in it as a ghost?
No.
I'd love that if he was. That would at least tidy that up.
Is he the woman in black in The Woman in Black too?
Yes, he is.
No, that would make me watch it.
The man in drag. Helen, what your engagement score?
I mean, it's kind of hard because I saw it at the cinema. I
fell asleep.
And fell asleep.
That's got to give it a low score straight away.
Yeah, and then this time round, you know, I was kind of faffing about on my phone and I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I won, yeah. Oh, no, but that's unfair because obviously I was more engaged the first time round.
But this is a score based on watching on Netflix, isn't it?
One. I mean, it doesn't really have I think the pace is too slow for me to have watched anyway. I think first time round on Netflix, you know, kind of watched it sort of in the afternoon time. Either it wasn't that dark or anything. So one. Sorry.
Why do you keep on apologizing? Why do you keep on saying sorry?
You know, because it's not a bad film. I don't think it's a bad film.
Slaved away.
I know. I don't think there's anything particularly wrong about it, and I don't think it's made badly. And you know, I didn't feel angry for it taking up my time. I just
wasn't interested.
Yeah, and there should be really, because it's it's a horror film. But you know,
I'm going to give it a 2. I wasn't sure, like you guys, I wasn't sure what he was actually doing there. so I think that means from the off, I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on there. So I think that's an indictment of...
Do you know what else as well, though, is you don't really care about his dead wife. From minute one, you go, she's just given circumstance. You don't know what she was like. Was she nice? What was their relationship like? You've got no clue. You're just like, yeah, his wife's dead. Get on with the tragedy. Let's go.
Fair point.
Well,
I guess
I don't really know what to say. Yeah.
Well, that
I mean, generally, if it the credits were rolling and we were to give it a star rating on Netflix, I think we're looking at kind of a 3-star, which I'd say it's kind of a 3-star film.
It's a solid 3.
Solid 3.
Yeah. All 3 of those stars, I'd give it.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right, 2.4 stars. Guys, do you want to give us a lowdown of who you are, where you came from, and
where we can find you?
Yeah, where we can find you. The Twitters and all these kind of places.
Sure.
Felix is from Brussels, so...
I am originally from Brussels.
Yeah,
so you can find me at Brussels. I'm Felix Trench. You can find me at Felix Trench. That's the usual place. I'm not giving you my phone number.
Go on.
No.
07. You got it here.
It's 07.
They've got it. Fair enough. Well, there you go. You have a website.
I do have a website, which is felixtrench.com. I mean, to be honest, if you put in Felix Trench, you'll get me.
There's only one.
There's not a lot of us.
You killed the other one, didn't you?
You'll get me, or you'll get a particular line of trench coat, which is the Villain Felix trench coat.
Amazing.
The evil Felix trench coat.
Are you a trench coat come to life in disguise?
Do you know?
Because if I were a Villain Felix trench coat, I would call myself Felix Trench by chopping off the first and last bits of my name.
Do you know what my parents have in their guest room?
I can't wait to see where this goes.
I'm excited.
They've got a little hardback book of the Book of Trench Coats. You can just flick through, and it's different trench coats.
Well, I'm on Twitter. I've I've got a very strange Twitter handle. Search Tom Crowley. It's the one that looks like Crowley. It's got 3 E's and a Y on the end because Tom Crowley was taken, and I thought that would be the best idea. But you can find us both in Wooden Overcoats, the podcast sitcom, which is on Stitcher, the iTunes Store, any podcast network really.
Which is great.
And if you don't do podcasts on your phone, you can find us on woodenovercoats.com.
Yes, we will put all the links to this in the notes and everything. So
We will. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, guys, thank you very much from the Wooden Overcoats team in Felix and Tom, where we talked about Woman in Black. Go and see them. Go and visit the show. It's a very good podcast. It's awesome. I highly recommend it, as we do all of our podcasting friends and family. Massive thank you, as always, to Tony and Jay and Greg and everyone who might be in the GL Productions team for the sweet editing skills that you've given us today. And of course, Mighty People for the tunes you can hear right now and at the top end of the podcast. Of course, always, go and visit us on iTunes, go and subscribe to us on iTunes, review us on iTunes, and share us with your friends. Come and visit us and join us on Twitter, which is at Flixwatcher Pod, and online our website is flixwatcher.tv. Guys, see you there. Bye.